We're live here, Fairway to Heaven. It's RBC Heritage Week. We're going to break down this week's event on the PGA Tour from a fantasy and gambling standpoint, recap the Masters a little bit as well, plus whatever else comes along in the conversation today. Fairway to Heaven starts in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow on all social media platforms. Do me that favor. Head over to the Philadelphia Sports Network YouTube page if you want to get interactive with the show. That way we can see your questions, comments, thoughts as we break down this week's PGA Tour event, the RBC Heritage. We're also going to spend some time tonight spend a little time recapping the Masters and everything that went down there, as well as it was a pretty entertaining and interesting week at Augusta National. But like I said, this week is RBC Heritage. Another one of those elevated events as we see. So we got a star-studded crowd this week in Harbour Town, in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Again, I'm your host, Phil Stifle. You can follow me on Twitter at Bearded Knowledge. Any questions you got, anything you want to talk about, drop them in that comment section. I'd greatly appreciate it. Real quick, Jon Rahm wins his second major finally at the Masters last week. And it was in a sort of dramatic fashion, if I want to say. I don't know how to describe. I still, at this point, haven't fully comprehended what we saw at the Masters last week. The weather, it just played such an ugly factor in the event. And I think we kind of lost out on what was already becoming a great event, like a great field, a great tournament. We lost out on what could have been an amazing finish at Augusta. Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, all there. I mean, Brooks Koepka, say what you will about the LIV Golfers and the LIV Tour, and anybody that's been following this show for a while knows I am 100% against the LIV Tour. Anybody that's been following the tour knows my thoughts. But I mean, Brooks Koepka came out finally healthy and was straight dominating. And then the weather, the long day, Patrick Cantley's slow play, whatever you want to say, really, really, really hampered what could have been a very interesting storyline. I know there's a lot of extreme anti-LIV guys and LIV people in general that are really sad that a LIV guy did not win the event. That would have been quite the story. What we would have said, Adam, what we would be talking about today if Phil Mickelson completed the epic comeback, or Brooks Koepka held on to his lead on Sunday and didn't let the weather, the slow play, pace of play, whatever it may be, deter him. The story today would be, and the story this week would be so much different. And it's really interesting to think about how that would have all played out. But that being said, Jon Rahm, he's a legend. I mean, the guy just has ice in his veins. He had a few events where he struggled a little bit this year by his standards, and we all kind of forgot about Jon Rahm. And Jon Rahm went out there, never worried about being too far behind in the Masters, just kept grinding away. He's always had great success, just not winning at Augusta, and put it together and got his green jacket, his second major. And something about getting that second major event, second major victory, just solidifies you from a great player to an elite player. Now, the weather also played a factor in a bunch of guys missing the cut. A bunch of guys that we wouldn't have expected if you were on the wrong end of the delay. Someone like Justin Thomas played brilliantly on day one, but then had the bad end of the weather delay on Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, missed the cut. He's in this week's field. We'll talk about Justin Thomas in a few minutes. You got Rory, who missed the cut, and Rory's now withdrawn this week. Another hot button topic. My man Jason Sullivan, who's a part-time co-host with me on this show, he brought up an interesting question in our private text messages. Is Rory McIlroy at this rate, at this portion of his career, overrated? And it kind of got me thinking, like, is he? Because, I mean, he's still playing elite golf. He's still winning golf tournaments. But when was the last time he really, really, truly was in contention to win a major tournament, one of the majors? Not some of these smaller events. When was the last time Rory McIlroy was really, really in contention? It's been a while. I mean, I know he finished, 5th in the Masters last year, but he backdoored that. That was because from a miraculous round on Sunday last year, and that was with him chipping in for birdie on 18 on the last hole 72. So it's been a while, and it gets you thinking. And I saw an interview and some conversation with Rory McIlroy in the last couple of weeks where he has said that the pressures and added duties of being this ambassador for the PGA Tour, all the extra media appearances, all the extra tournaments he's playing in is wearing on him. Now, you got to understand, some of these top golfers, they're used to playing 12 or 14 times a year. The only guys that complain about the PGA Tour schedule are the mid-level guys, the guys that have to keep their card every week. The top-end guys like Rory and Rahm and Scheffler, they haven't had to play this many events in a long time. So I wonder if that's wearing on Rory. It's not wearing on Jon Rahm. It's not wearing on Scottie Scheffler, but maybe it is on Rory. Or like my man Jason says, maybe there is just a difference between Jon Rahm and Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. It used to be the conversation was it's Jon Rahm, Scottie Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy, and then Patrick Cantlay and the rest of the crew, Justin Thomas, Max Homa. Maybe Rory's into that second tier. Maybe there's only 2 golfers in that elite tier. And that's something that has to be seen. We'll have to see when the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship, the Open Championship happen, if Rory can get himself back into contention. But I think that's part of the reason why he is withdrawn this week from Harbour Town. It's just he's overextending himself to an extent. I don't want to buy into the factor that maybe he is, overrated, as Jason would say. I just think he's overextended himself. He's not used to it. He's not in great form physically. He's just not 100% where he wants to be. Taking the extra week off. Now, I did get a tweet from somebody when I mentioned that he was withdrawn, and it's a shame. And I'm surprised no one else is withdrawn. Honestly, I really am. Someone like Jon Rahm, if Rory doesn't withdraw, Jon Rahm might withdraw. Just to take a week off after winning the Masters. But now he feels the obligation to the PGA Tour and everything that's going on to play in this event. But it's a great event this week. A great event to follow up last week's Masters, and let's dive into it. RBC Heritage, Hilton Head, Harbour Town, a great event. Won last year by Jordan Spieth, I believe. And we've got a load of field, like I said. Jon Rahm, Scottie Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa. They're just the top names. I mean, it goes down and down. Justin Thomas, Sam Burns, Tom Kim's back in the field. Everybody's in it. So it's an elite field. What is Harbour Town? Harbour Town is one of those golf courses that I love for gambling and fantasy purposes, because there's no tricks in this course. We know exactly what kind of golfer, Jordan Spieth winning it before. We know exactly what type of golfer it takes to win at Harbour Town. And this being the first time it's after the Masters, and it's an elevated event. It's always a good field, but this is a super deep field. So you won't see many or any long shots really. I don't want to say there's no shot for a long shot, but Stewart Sink, like a couple of years ago, he's not going to win. A couple of years ago, it was Sink and Grillo and Fitzpatrick and McNeely. They were your top of the card. Years before that, Webb Simpson went. Webb Simpson has great course history here in general. Michael Thomas, Dylan Fratelli, they were at the top of the board in 2020 and 2019. You had C.T. Pan and Scott Piercy, at the top of the board. Satoshi Kadira, however you say his name, he won this event, and that's not going to happen this year. Last year, you saw Spieth and Cantlay 1-2 after the playoff there. With this elevated field this year, it is going to be the elite of the elite that win this event or are in contention. And what kind of golfer does it take to win at this event? If you're looking at the DraftKings odds, or you're thinking of building some fantasy lineups, and we're going to actually build a lineup live on the air here towards the end of the show, what kind of golfer do you need to be to win here? Well, what do we know? Driving accuracy, super, 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 super important here. Okay, shot shaping. It's a Pete Dye course. If you know anything about Pete Dye courses, distance doesn't matter. Accuracy does. So you need guys that drive the ball straight. What do you need next? It's a Pete Dye course. If you've ever watched the show, and you know I love my Pete Dyes, which means Tommy Fleetwood is on my card this week. That means Shane Lowry is on my card this week. I love my Pete Dye courses. I love my Pete Dye guys. So you need your accuracy. So next you need guys that are great with irons. You're going to, all the shots, that's why distance doesn't matter. They're all going to funnel, and all these dog legs and stuff like that into certain buckets. 175-yard approach, 200-yard approach, 155-yard approach. You're going to want guys that are elite second shot golfers, okay? Great approach players, great with the iron. And the reason being that you need guys that are great with the iron, because these are some of the smallest putting greens on tour, about 3,700 average yard or square foot, greens. So you need guys that are elite with the iron, because a lot of guys are going to miss the green. Greens in regulation going to be a low percentage hit this week. So you need elite iron play, following up that elite drive, accuracy on the drive. And then what you need are guys that are elite around the green. Because with 3,700 yard average, square foot, average, whatever it is, 3,700 yards, greens, you're going to be pitching. You're going to be chipping. You're going to be working from all different kinds of lies around the green. You need elite around the green play. So that's what you need. Accuracy, iron play, and around the green play. And if you could do those three things well, you're going to be in contention. So this brings a lot of other guys into play. You got the Tom Kims that get brought into play, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, JT. Drivers of the golf ball that don't hit it as far as some of the other guys on tour. Guys that are great with their irons. That's what you need. You look at a guy like Matt Kuchar that's won this event, contended here before. Webb Simpson, nowhere near a long hitter, contended here before. Lowry, well, he's won here before, Webb Simpson, but he's not in great form anymore. Siwoo Kim, Ricky Fowler, all these guys that when you're playing a 7,500, 7,700 yard course that can't hit the ball far, these guys are in play this week. So let me bring up, courtesy of fantasynational.com. Check them out, fantasynational.com. They got the best model making tools in the business. You punch in what you want, you weigh them out how you want, and it spits out a model on who to play. And as you can see on my model here, again, if you check out fantasynational.com and you like what you see there and you want to sign up, send them a message, let them know that you heard about them from Fairway to Heaven here on Philadelphia Sports Network. So I put, and this is a typical, if you're new to the show, this is only my second time doing this show on Philadelphia Sports Network. My model is always consistently two things. I do it based off the last 36 rounds played. Some people like 24, some like 50, whatever it may be. I like 36. It's a good, good stretch of golf for me. That's what I find success with. And I always put shots gained total in for 5%. And I always put putting for 0 at the far end, just so I have an idea who the putters are and who isn't putting well right now. But if you look at this model, I got 25% of it weighted on approach. I got 20% of it around the green and 25% fairways gained. That's your driving accuracy. So that's 70% of my model over 3 stats. That is a lot. Let me just tell you, I very rarely will you find 70, 75% on just 3 stats. I've also put tee to green and ball striking in there for a little bit because, again, you want those elite ball strikers, iron play, guys that are just shot shapers. You don't want the mashers. You want the shot shapers. So I put a little bit in there of that, and then DraftKings points. I love to keep DraftKings points in there at the bottom, or back end of my thing for a little bit of weight because we're building fantasy lineups. That's what you're using this for, or building betting cards. I've got both a betting card here and a fantasy lineups. So you want guys that are going to score points. So DraftKings points is always important. So let me resort this here. So my model, you sort it out by taking this all into account, and who finishes at the top of my card. It's funny, John Rahm, the winner of the Masters, is not on this card, and there's a reason for it. When we get to him in a minute, there's some things with these models that are a little bit skewed, and you got to be able to understand what a model really says and what some of these shot gain categories mean. And I'll sometimes click on these names. It won't show you what I'm clicking on. It's just bringing up some details of the players. But Colin Morikawa, number 1 in my model. Okay? And why is that? Elite iron player, elite tee to green player, elite ball striker, hits a lot of fairways, scores a lot of points, average around the green. So when I'm trying to build my main plays, if I have 2 or 3 stats, like here, fairways gained, approach, and around the green that I'm heavy on, he is in the top 5 in 2 of those categories. 3rd on fairways gained, 3rd on approach. That means it's a must play for me. Okay, and so that's my model. That's where I'm looking at. Tom Kim 2. When will Fantasy National update his name to actual Tom Kim? I don't know. Scotty Scheffler 3. Max Homa 4. Sung Jae Im 5. Cantley 6. Siwoo Kim, Tony Finau, David Lipsky, and Xander Schauffele. And you notice they're all really good at a couple things. So we're going to resort this for DraftKings purposes by price tier. We're going to go through this price tier. Again, if you want to get interactive with the show, if you're watching, there are a lot. I've never seen this many people watching on Twitter at one time, 73 people. If you want to get interactive, if you've got questions, you got to send them. Go head over to the Philadelphia Sports Network YouTube page and drop your comments in the comment section there. But we're going to talk about it. You got 5 names, 10K or above. Obviously, I've already said it twice. Colin Morikawa is my play this week. I love him. He was my first outright bet this week. I've got 21 lineups built right now. He's in 16 of them. Played well at the Masters, finished 10th in the Masters. Again, a second straight top 10 at the Masters for him. An elite player that now you're putting on a course that you don't need to drive the ball far. That's my number 1 play. At the top of the board, Jon Rahm, coming off his Masters win. He's 16th in my model. And this is why you got to be able to understand models a little bit. You can't see this on clicking onto another page. There are no shots gained data at the Masters outside of shots gained total. So he played elite off the tee on approach. He was elite everywhere last week, but they don't register in the stat model. So you got to take that into account there with Jon Rahm. I am just skipping over Jon Rahm this week for one simple fact, and that's the Masters hangover. And I truly, truly believe if Rory McIlroy does not withdraw from this event, that Jon Rahm does. You got Scotty Scheffler, you got Jordan Spieth, you got Patrick Cantlay also in this range. First and foremost, Patrick Cantlay. Again, another week of me losing money at the Masters on Patrick Cantlay. I don't know when I will learn my lesson, but I always lose money on Patrick Cantlay at the Masters, and I always will. And someday I won't be stupid enough to do that. But again, Patrick Cantlay, his pace of play has come into question. It's always come into question, but it's been amplified this week at the Masters. A lot of golfers are not happy with him. I'm off on him. And then Jordan Spieth, 33rd, in my model, played great at the Masters last week. Again, I think his model number, he would probably be in the top 15, 20 if they had numbers there. He won this event last year. I just don't really tend to lean towards back-to-back winners on guys. But also when you're building fantasy lineups, you can only build so many guys at the top of your board. And I'm so in love with Colin Morikawa this week, and I've got him in. So if I wanted to take Colin Morikawa from 16 to 21 lineups, bring him down to like 10 or 11 lineups, and if I was going to find 5 more spots, it would probably be Jordan Spieth would be the other guy in this range that I would play. But Colin Morikawa, I am really, really confident in Colin Morikawa being able to win this event this week and get back on the win total there. All right, so let's get into the 9K range here. Starts with Victor Hovland. It's a very small range, down to Max Homa. So there's only 5 names here. Victor Hovland kicked my ass at the Masters. I had him in a lot of lineups, had him all over the place. Obviously had the outright bet on him, and he was right there after 3 rounds. Had a great finish to round 3 on Sunday, and then just one of those guys that just fell apart in the second half in round 4 on Sunday. The around the green play, it flashed better, but it also flashed some of the old Victor Hovland. So I'm staying away from him because of his around the green play this week. Cam Young, great golfer, just maybe not ready for this type of a course just yet. Tony Finau, he's an elite ball striker. He's on my DraftKings card this week. Where is he on my board here? Maybe I bailed on Tony Finau this week. Again, when you're building a card, you kind of got to bail sometimes on guys you like. And Tony Finau is a great play this week. I just bailed. He's going to be super high owned. Xander Schauffele, another great ball striker, elite ball striker in this field. Max Homa. This is the type of thing. Max Homa thrives on difficult courses where he's just got to hit elite shots and shape his shots perfectly. So this is a great place for Max Homa. I do like Max Homa this week. But if I had to go for my second favorite play this week, it's one step down. That's the 15th in my model at 8,900, and that's Justin Thomas. And I know you're saying, he missed the cut at the Masters. Why do you like Justin Thomas, a guy that just missed the cut at the Masters? Well, let me tell you something. First and foremost, we know he's a great around the green, and he's a great ball striker. He's an elite approach iron player. You are never going to get Justin Thomas at 8,900 on a DraftKings board. He was 28. Where is he on my card here? 28-1 to win this event. I know Justin Thomas missed the cut last week. I know Justin Thomas hasn't been the perfect golfer lately. But let me tell you something. Justin Thomas at 8,900 at 28-1 in this event, it's a slam dunk play. Let me see here. 35th last year, 8th year before. So he's got 2 top 11s in this event. He's made the cut all 4 times he's played here. So he obviously plays well here too. Justin Thomas, a steal at 8,900. I don't care what his ownership percentage is going to be. When you watch these shows, you hear a lot of people talk about ownership percentage and how important it is. I don't think individual ownership percentage matters if you get creative in other spots in your lineup. If you like a guy, Morikawa is going to be chalky. He's going to be in 20% range probably, 18, 20%. JT, because of his price, is going to be 18, 20%. Hell, I'll put them both in the same lineup. I'm just going to get creative down the card. If I'm using those 2 chalky guys, I'm going to throw in a Jim Furyk or a Scott Piercy, at the bottom of my card to balance it out. And that's what I think is key. A lot of people overthink and pivot off of guys just because they're going to be high owned. Well, they're just great plays. Sam Burns, his numbers suck, but WGC match play, no stat gains category. The Masters, no shots gained category or stats kept for either of those events. So when you take that into account, is 105th in the model, not really 105th, because he's actually played really well his last couple events. Only one of them, the Valspar, actually has any shots gained data. So Sam Burns is a great play this week because, again, he does a lot of things well. And he's a really good putter, too. So if he gets on the green, he's not going to 3-putt or anything like that. Sung J M is on my card as well as Tom Kim. Tom Kim is actually, so I said Justin Thomas would probably be my second favorite play. I might have lied. Tom Kim at 8,500 might be my second favorite play. Let me look at my card here. Where is he on here? All right, so Morikawa's in 16 of 21 lineups. Homa's in 11. Tom Kim's in 9. And so is Justin Thomas in 9. So he's right there in my top 4 plays. This guy getting back out. He didn't qualify for the Masters. Did he actually play in the Masters? I don't even know if he played in the Masters. Honestly, I should know better about the answer to my own questions. Did he? He did. He finished 16th. That was the most I don't even know what the words are. I didn't even know he was in the Masters. He finished in the top 20. I mean, was he on TV ever then? I don't know. Anyway, Tom Kim doesn't have to worry about driving the golf ball far here at this course. He could shape the shot. I would not be surprised. I actually got him at 45-1 before his number dropped to 40-1. I love Tom Kim to win this event. Like, I love Justin Thomas as a DraftKings play, and I bet the 28-1 number just because it's so juicy for a guy at his level. But if I had to pick who's going to win, that win equity term you hear a lot of, Morikawa and Tom Kim are my top 2 win equity guys, if that makes sense. At least that's in my opinion right there. Continuing down the card here in the 8K, Matthew Fitzpatrick. I mean, he's okay. Shane Lowry, he's this bottom half here. Shane Lowry, Tyrell Hatton, Tommy Fleet. These are your Pete Dye course guys. Shot shapers. Guys that know how to keep the ball low, shape it around the dog leg, hit great iron play. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood's second in this field in the last 36 rounds around the green. I mean, that's what you want. Second around the green, 13th tee to green, 22nd on approach. I mean, that's perfect. So Tommy Fleetwood's a great play as well. And Sahith Theegala, I love Sahith. I hit that bet last week on at the Masters. I had him as my low first timer. Sam Bennett, the rook, the amateur. He almost took that bet away from me, but then he collapsed, obviously. And that was a great story, Sam Bennett. Really great story from the amateur to be in contention, be in the final grouping in round 3. Great story. And we'll see him again on tour. All right, down to the 7K range, loaded range with a lot of interesting names. Keegan Bradley, Russell Henley had a great final day and a half at Augusta. He's going to be a very popular. Matt Kuchar at RBC. I mean, like I said, he's won this event before. I mean, third the last time out the Valero, but he was playing terrible golf before that. Missed a couple cuts before that. Well, let me give you his RBC Heritage numbers. All right. Let me tell you, he's played this event 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 11 times he's played this event. Going backwards from 2012 when he first played 44th, 35th, 1st, 5th, 9th, 11th, 23rd, 2nd, 41, 18th, 3rd. So he's only 4 times out of 11 tries not finished in the top 35. And 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So 7 times he's finished in the top 20, top 19. Matt Kuchar loves this course. Matt Kuchar is going to be chalky. But at 50 to 1, throw a little dice at it. If you want to put him in your DraftKings lineups, I'd put a few in there. I wouldn't be worried about you putting a few little touches of him in there. But definitely consider betting him for sure. Maybe even a top 10, a top 20 or something like that. With that would be something that you could dabble with. Justin Rose, one of those shorter hitters, but I just don't know this week about him. Siwoo Kim, I love Siwoo Kim here. Let's dive on the Siwoo Kim. I got back into the first round leader bets this week. You'll see my full card when it comes out. He's been playing good golf. Siwoo Kim, not great golf, but good golf. He did have a second place finish in 2018 here. And he's only missed the cut. He's missed the cut twice out of 6 tries. So he plays decently here. But when he's on, he's an approach player, an iron player, a tee to green player. He leaves a little bit to be desired with the putter. But you don't have to worry about putting because you're going to have shorter putts here. So Siwoo Kim, I think, is a great play this week for DraftKings purposes. I did throw a 65 to 1 first round leader bet on him. I think that's a little fun, a little entertaining. Wyndham Clark, I always love Wyndham Clark. There he is right there. Great approach player, great tee to green player, strong around the green. The only thing he doesn't do is he doesn't hit the ball off the tee very well. So as long as he can be average around off the tee, I think Wyndham Clark's a good play. Ricky Fowler, so close to qualifying for the Masters last week. So close. Did not get the job done. But he's back this week, and he wants to be back in the majors. So how's he do that? He can go out and win this week, or at least start piling up more really strong finishes in events. And I think Ricky Fowler's a great play. Chris Kirk's been playing a renaissance this year. Tom Hoge. I always love Tom Hoge. The best in the last 36 rounds played for each golfer in this field. He is the number 1 approach player. But he missed the cut at the Masters. So would he be? He's actually missed the cut in 2 of his last 3 events, the Arnold Palmer and the Masters. So would he be? I don't know. I'm intrigued. I don't know. I'll see where his ownership is. Maybe I sprinkle a little extra in of him. Going down, Min Woo Lee killed me last week. I had him in so many lineups last week, and him missing the cut last week completely and totally destroyed me. So I'm dead for Min Woo Lee right now. He's not getting touched for a little while from me. Matt Wallace, a little bit of a resurgence, good golfer right now. Continuing down, Sam Ryder. I love Sam Ryder. He's one of those good stories that he's been playing so great lately. So Sam Ryder is definitely a guy that I like this week. Ryan Fox, another guy. I mean, he was a guy I liked. He kind of didn't make the final cut because you got to cut some guys. And Ryan, Patrick Rogers are the same. Let's go down here to the 6K range here. Because when you're using 16 lineups of Colin Morikawa at 10,000, you got to sprinkle in some 6K guys. Nick Taylor models out really well down here at the bottom for me. Really well. And why is that? First and foremost, he's a great approach player. He's great around the green. His last 2 events, he finished 15th at Valero, 10th at Valspar, and he did it, with great tee to green play, great putting, a great around the green. Even when he missed the cut, he still gained strokes around the green at the Players. Finished 2nd at the Waste Management. Nick Taylor, really good play this week, and I think he's got at least 1 or 2 good finishes here. Missed the cut last year, but he's got a 22nd, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's made the cut here 4 times, so he knows his way around Harbour Town. Nick Taylor, really strong play at 6,900. Same thing with Brendan Todd. Ben Griffin, man. Ben Griffin was one of those guys that was trending. Like, I was betting Ben Griffin to outright win events not too long ago. And then he goes 35th at the Players, 45th at the Valspar, missed cut at Valero. But why? It's his approach. I mean, his 45th at Valspar, he lost 8 strokes on approach. 8 strokes. And that's, actually 3 of his last 4 events. He's lost 4.4, 8, and 1.3, so that's 5.7. That's 13.7 strokes in 3 of his last 4 events on approach. But before that, he had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 of 11 events without losing strokes on approach. So he's a great approach player. I have no idea who this is. I don't know if this is a joke or not. But what I'll say is that there are no alternates this week. Unless it drops below 132 players, which it will. That would have to be like a dozen guys withdrawing. So there are no alternates in this week's field. So that's a no on that. Back to the thing here, Ben Griffin, where was I? Going down this field, Scott Piercy is another name you're going to hear people talk about. Third best player around the green. Has had great success here at RBC. Let me see here. His RBC, 12th last year, 62nd, miscut 3rd, 16th. So 4 of the last 5 times he's played here, he's made the cut. 3 of those times he's made the top 16, and once a top 5. So Scott Piercy is a great play. I actually took a little flyer since he's got great success here. He's 150 to 1. Yeah, well, you get blocked for that, you know? That's a stupid thing. Why you gotta be stupid? Scott Piercy, 150 to 1 to be the leader after the first round. I think it's a really strong play. I think it's a strong bet. And I made it. So Scott Piercy actually made a couple lineups. David Lipsky, not too bad. Models out really great. David Lipsky, 9th in my model. But again, this is where models can sometimes, be skewed a little bit. He has missed so many cuts that his 4th place finish back in January at the Sony Open still is weighing into the model a little bit. So I think that comes into play there. And he actually has never played this event before. So don't fall in the David Lipsky trap like a lot of people are. And then I want to go all the way down here to my man, Jim Furyk. You're going to forget about Jim Furyk because he's on the senior tour. But first and foremost, his RBC, he missed the cut here a couple times now, but he's won this event. He's had 3 top 10s playing this event. And if you go onto his DraftKings card, because Fantasy National doesn't have senior tour events on it, the senior tour, his last 5 senior events, he's finished 19th, 25th, 39th, 52nd, and 10th. So he's actually turning in some really good performances. And again, it's a flyer. What do we talk about? Don't worry about ownership percentage at the top. Worry about getting different at the bottom. And throwing Scott Piercy and Jim Furyk in your card makes you a little different. Differentiates yourself from everybody else. So I think that's really, really important. And I forgot to say Joel Dahmen. Love Joel Dahmen this week as well. So, all right. We're going to build a lineup here. I got a free ticket to a lineup. So we're going to take this off the screen. We're going to stop that share screen there. We're going to share a different screen. We're going to share my DraftKings board here. All right. And we're going to build it. I got a free ticket to a $5 drive the green contest, $50K to first place. So let's build a lineup live on the air. Don't copy it in the same event. Then we'll have to share the prize and stuff like that. But let's see how we're going to do this. So this is how I've been building my lineup. Again, Collin Morikawa, a great play. Love him. And then you want to go down to the bottom of your lineup if you like. I don't know if you like to do all your stars and then go pick around the bottom. I like to see who I'm going to start with at the top and then work around the bottom. I think I could put another Joel Dahmen in there because, like I said, I do like Joel Dahmen this week. Let me see Joel Dahmen. 50. Yeah, he hasn't missed the cut in a little while. Maybe I got a little soft spot for Joel Dahmen because of the whatchamacallit, the Full Swing thing, Netflix documentary. Kind of like him a little bit now from that. But now I got 8,200 left. So where do we go from there? We go down to the 6K range or 7K range. Siwoo Kim, Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler. I'm looking at who I've used the least. I've used the least to Siwoo Kim. So we'll put another little click on Siwoo Kim there. That puts me at 8,500. Let's see here. Where do we go next? We go with Tommy Fleetwood. We go Shane Lowry. That puts me with 9,100. And there's another Justin Thomas. So just like that, we just built a lineup. And let me tell you something. With the Joel Dahmen and the Fleetwood, there's some uniqueness to this lineup. Enter. That's a 50K lineup right there. 50K lineup right there. So let me go over one final time all my bets, everything I got going on right now. Again, this is the RBC Heritage Fairway to Heaven right here on the Philadelphia Sports Network. I don't have my logo up on the screen this whole time. Oh, it is up there. It's just not blending in well. I'm going to have to get a better logo up there for next time. But again, I've got 5 outright bets this week. I got Colin Morikawa 18-1. I got Justin Thomas 28-1. I got Tom Kim 45-1. Matt Kuchar 50-1. And then I threw the flyer on Wyndham Clark 80-1. Wyndham Clark's going to win an event. It's just a matter of when. So I got 3 top 20s. Not only do I have Morikawa 18-1, his top 20 number, he was minus 105, so less than even money. But I threw a bet on him to finish in the top 20 because there's literally, if he doesn't win, he's going to finish in the top 20. And at least I cover my outright bet, and I still turn a little bit of a profit there. So I love that. And I did the same thing with Justin Thomas. I threw him in the top 20 as well. He was plus 140 top 20. So was Max Homa plus 140 top 20. So I have 3 top 20s there. Homa, JT, and Colin Morikawa. And then I have 3 first-round leaders. Tom Kim, 55-1. Siwoo Kim, 65-1. And Scott Piercy, 150-1. I will say, if you bet first-round leaders, don't go crazy. I've got, not even a full unit between the 3 bet. Because you can lose so much money on those first-round leaders. Just they're more for fun. You hit one of them, it covers your weekend worth of betting, and you have a little fun. You got to bet those first-round leaders as responsibly as possible. This is the first time I've really gotten back into the first-round leader market this year, and I'm feeling good about it. I honestly like the Tom Kim first-round leader or the Siwoo Kim. I think they're both really good bets you can place there. But anyway, this is Fairway to Heaven right here on the Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live every single Tuesday night. We started a little early tonight. I had a long day at work. Got a long morning tomorrow, long day tomorrow. I wanted to get done early so I can get to bed a little earlier tonight than normal. So I just want to say thank you for everybody tuning in. Make sure you like this, you share it, you follow it. If you send me messages on my personal Twitter account, @BeardedKnowledge, or @Fairway, the number 2 Heaven _, I'll respond with any of your golf questions. I'd greatly appreciate that as well. Tune in tomorrow. Trending in the AM, all here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I'm going to try to start getting some guests on the show. Sprinkling some things. We got Swagman. We got Mr. Tout himself. We got Model Maniac. We're going to get all our guests on that we had on the old network on here on the new network, Philadelphia Sports Network. So stay tuned. Make sure you turn those notifications on and on the YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment when we go live. We got Eagles on the agenda. We got Phillies on the agenda tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great night. Let's hit those bets and let's get that. If Colin Morikawa wins this week, let me tell you something. Really quick shout out, by the way, to Will's Outdoors because it made me think about it. The last time I was this all in on a player was one of Will's Outdoors' withdrawals because of his bad back. So let me make up for that this week and shout out to him getting the back surgery done. He had a withdrawal from the Masters. The kid's got so much potential. Let's hope he gets his back right because it'd be so huge. But let's get that Colin Morikawa in. If Colin Morikawa wins with him in as many lineups as I have him in, with the bet, the top 20, everything, it will be a very profitable weekend this week. And I'm feeling confident about it. So Colin Morikawa, you're my guy this week. Hopefully he's your guy too. Bet responsibly. Thank you to Philadelphia Sports Network. For them, I am Phil Stiefel. We'll see you next week right here on Fairway to Heaven.